We are live here at SDF Academy with yours truly, Joe Martejeda. I'm glad to have one of the top 10, top 20, top 100 Binance.com traders in the world for January 2023 with us here today. So, JC, like the question a lot of people have, especially in a market like the one that we're in, is how to realistically and how to be profitable, how to realistically be profitable in this space, how not to get their butt handed to them, how to stay afloat, how to just navigate this space accordingly so that wins are being had, and it continues to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So over the past couple of weeks, brother, you've done a great. You have a great track record. You've done a lot of trades. I want to get into, I guess, more specifically how many trades you probably put in the last 2 months. But like, what is it actually taking? Like, how were you able to 10x your trading account? Like, what are you doing, and like how can other people do the same thing, especially on the verge of a recession?
Yeah.
How do we do this?
Well, that's a great question. And I think for me personally, it's been now today, actually, January 9th is 2 months since I started that run. I started that run November 9th on my grandmother's birthday. And yeah, it's been the way. So there's lots of that, right? Because you have to take into consideration experience, right? So is it an experienced trader, or is it an inexperienced trader that's approaching this market? Because there's two completely different approaches, right? For me, as an experienced trader, I've been here before. So because I've been here before, there's some sort of familiarity with the atmosphere, and there's familiarity with the psychology of how the market behaves, right, at around these times. And the because I've seen it before, I can sort of anticipate what emotional rallies would look like. Like right now, we're in an emotional rally, right? Like we're experiencing, for the last couple of days, we've experienced sort of an uptick in the marketplace, and the consumer price index numbers are coming out on Thursday. So there's a little bit of optimism in the marketplace because we may come in lower than expected for inflation. So the markets are starting to anticipate a potential volatility, a potential move by front running, a rally. And when that happens, at these lower levels, like where the price has been low for so long and assets are so oversold, it's really easy to get caught in what is called a short squeeze. And what's happening right now is you're having a sort of at least over the weekend, you've had an emotional FOMO short squeeze start to take place, where a lot of people think about it. Let's say, for example, this is why I consider myself to be somewhat of a successful trader, is because if I think about the psychology of the average person, let's say you came in and you bought an asset at $60, right? And you've been shorting it, meaning you've been betting for that price to go down, and you've been shorting it, and you've been shorting it, and you've been shorting it since $60, and now it's trading at $1. And you looking at this asset and you're like, wow, I've shorted this thing 95% of the way down. And now it's $1 away from being worthless, meaning zero, right? Like the project is dead. And at some point in time, right, what happens is you get to a level where you are uncomfortable betting for the price to go even lower, because it's so low that at any given point in time, right, it could reverse and leave those levels, or the project could die. So unless you're betting for the project to absolutely die, a lot of these people that are betting for the price to go to zero start to get a little bit nervous. And when the price begins to reverse, essentially these people, they cut their losses, they cut their risks, so they begin to exit those shorts. They begin to exit on betting that the price is going to go down. As they begin to exit those positions, the price, because the only way you can exit a short is you have to buy back in, as people begin to buy back in, it causes a rally in the market, and that alerts other traders that are bullish to go, wow, this asset is now trading at $1. What if it goes back to $60? Right? But the reality of it is it doesn't need to go back to $60. It can just go to $5 and completely liquidate anybody that's shorting it at $1. So now people that are shorting at $1 begin to get nervous, and they begin to get out and switch back to being bullish. And what ends up happening is now people are like, man, at $1, I mean, the chances of going to zero are a lot less likely than the chances of it going from $1 to $2. Right? Especially if it was $60 a year ago. So now that because the assets are so cheap and so extremely oversold, they go up 50, 100% in a matter of hours. And that's what we've been witnessing in the last couple of days here. We've had assets in crypto in the last 48 hours go up 150, 200%. We've had some assets go up a lot more than that. And the entire market is rallying. While BTC is doing absolutely almost nothing, the entire market is it's rallying. So as a trader, I just kind of see that opportunity and go, okay, well, I need to bet big, because if the likelihood of the entire market going to zero here is a lot less likely than the market just doubling because it's so cheap. Everything is so cheap right now. So if I'm thinking that, a lot of other traders are thinking that. And if a lot of other traders are thinking that, institutions are beginning to think that, exchanges are beginning to think that, market makers are beginning to think that. So what happens is you have a short-term rally where the price gets pushed up, and everybody that's over leveraged on a short begins to get squeezed out. And that's what we've been witnessing now for the last week or so in this space. It's been a slow, steady climb, and then this morning you just had late last night you just had a nice pop of most asset. But when we go into what it takes to to build wealth in a recession, that's a much more strategic conversation based on a couple of things, right? Like your lifestyle, how what your financial goals are. Do you have a full-time job and you're looking to just invest on the side part-time? Are you a full-time investor, a full-time trader? So you're going to have different approaches and different goals based on your current situations. And that's what Thursday night, we're obviously going to go into a lot more detail on how to do that, because there's a specific strategy that I use, right, that I'm using right now that I'm going to share Thursday night in order to build wealth in a bear market.
Thursday, we're going to be going in a little bit deeper onto that, because again, it's a hard. There's so many different factors that it like you just shared, like the lifestyle of the person, what their income goals are, how they identify, right? Like I remember when I first started dabbling with crypto, especially when I saw STF. What I liked about STF is that it let me know that there's a way to build a career in the space. There's a way to build a future in the space. There's no one way to do it, right? There's many different ways you can, but that it's the main two ways. It's either you're going to be doing it trading, right, where you're trading either your time for money. You're actually doing trades. Maybe you're trading NFTs. There's so many different ways that you can trade, but it's the idea of trading or an exchange of your cash or your currency for something else. And then there was also the DeFi route, going with the passive income route, and that's either me taking my investment, taking money that I already have, and putting it into like a staking pool or something. But like the fact that I can choose, right? And what we found over the last couple of months is that if you really want to make it happen and you don't have the capital, like you got to create it. Like you got to create new profit. You got to generate this new income first, right? Even if you want to do protocols, you need the income first. And there's so many different ways to trade. There's so many different styles of trading. And they're really going to be, I guess, the decision that what backs the decision of how I want to show up as a trader is what I'm looking to do. How much time do I have during the day? Do I have time earlier to fish and go with the markets and really look at what's happening worldwide? Am I a safer trader? Am I more conservative? Am I less conservative? Am I trading with $100? Am I trading with $1,000, $100,000? Like it really depends on the person and what their goals are. But I love it that regardless of where you're at, that we're catering to getting you there, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to say in one simple conversation, this is the strategy, because it's always changing and the market's always changing. So, what are we going to be talking about this Thursday night that would, I guess, if I'm watching this on Facebook, just flying by it, or maybe, I've heard of SDF Academy and I still want to learn more because I haven't really dove deep into what SDF Academy has to offer. What can I expect to learn tomorrow or on Thursday? What can I expect to learn from the
Well, so that's a great question. We're gonna go over some basic economic stuff, right? So just getting you in the right mindset to understand, before you start on any journey. Look, whether you're going to lose weight or whether you, like, some of us have New Year's resolutions, right? And our New Year's resolution is to be healthier this year, or it is to make more money this year, or get closer to God. Whatever your resolution is, you're going to have to take steps to prepare for it, right? And if you're starting the gym, you're gonna probably go get some workout gear. You're probably gonna get some new shoes. You may get some new outfits. All right, so just some things to get you in the right state of mind, and also to sort of begin that initial phase of commitment, right? Because you want to feel like, okay, I'm taking the right steps. At least, if I'm getting my clothes and I'm getting my membership and I'm getting my, my gear, my protein shakes, then I'm taking the right step not to actually go and do the work, right? So in crypto and investing and whatever you do with money, it's no different, right? First, we got to get you in the right mindset. We got to get you in that mindset, like, okay, this is where I am January. This is what I need to get in order to prepare. These are the tools that I'm going to need. This is the state of the market. I need to understand, right, how I'm doing financially in comparison to how the market is. You got to understand where your positioning currently is, right? So you can begin to develop a plan. Are you far behind? Are you in your 50s and you have no 401k, no retirement? Like, right? You may have to be a little bit more aggressive, over the next couple of years than somebody who's like 22 and doesn't have it, and is just beginning their career, right? So your preparation, your mind, first you need to analyze and figure out where you are, right? So then we can begin to understand the level of urgency, right? Do you have a high level of urgency or do you have a low level of urgency, right? Based on your current situation. Because once we do that, once we determine the level of urgency in which you're at, then you can determine your level of commitment, right? Because if you know that your urgency level is extremely high, like, hey, I'm 500 pounds, I need to lose 200 pounds this year, or I'm probably going to die, right? In the next decade, then that's a high level of urgency for your health, right? So you got to figure out financially, where are you in your level of urgency? Am I like, man, I need to do something, or I'm going to be homeless in the next 12 months, or I'm going to be homeless in the next 6 months, or I'm going to be homeless in the next 30 days, right? You got to figure out where you are. So then that way we can get in the right state of mind and the right approach, right? Because each one is going to have different, like I said, everybody's situation is going to be different. So that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday, right? We're going to get you in the right state of mind, understand where your positioning is, understand what is available, right? So we're going to talk about what is available, the vehicles that are available to you to begin to build wealth in the bear market, right? So once we assess where you are, once we assess how you're doing, once we assess your level of urgency, right, then we're going to look at the tools that are available to you, in order for you to leverage, what's possible. And one of the things that, some people, like, they're like, oh, I don't want to trade, and because I don't have a lot of money. And the reality of it is, I'll share with you guys. You don't need, like, I started this particular account here November 9th with, I think he had like $2,600. Like, I think that was like the actual number. Like, he had $2,600, and at the very beginning, I mean, there's small, conservative wins. It was like $100 here, $50 there, right? But the power of compounding is so insane. Like, most people overlook what they can accomplish, right? Doing daily activities over a small period, so over a long period of time, right? Rather than doing a big activity once. And like a lot of folks want to come in and investing in fitness and all these resolutions that they have, and they want to do 1 or 2 or 3 big activities, and that's it. Like, well, I just want to do 2, 3, 4, 5 big activities that are going to require all my effort in those 3, 4, 5 big activities, and that's it. That's all I want to do, and I want to see results. Where the right approach is like, you know what? I just need to do a little bit every day. Like, I just need to be, a good friend of mine used to tell me, like, I just want to be 1% better every day. Like, if I'm 1% better every day, I am going to progressively improve in everything that I do. Right. So you want to show up every day and just be 1% better than yesterday. Oh, yesterday I did this. Today I'm gonna do just 1% more. Yesterday I ran for 3 minutes. Today I'm gonna run for 3 minutes in 1 second. Like, just literally just progress. And every day as you progress that little bit forward, what happens is when you do it in the world of finance, you can start with $2,700, and then it gets to a point, right, where today is January 9th. And these numbers reflect yesterday because they update at midnight. But as of January 8th, what is 8 days divided by $7,200? That's almost like $900 a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Divided by, yes, $900 a day. I started with $2,600, right? $2,600, and now I'm making $900 a day. Right. And if I just did that and I just stayed here, that's $27,000 a month times 12. That's $324,000 a year. If I just keep doing that, and I started with $2,600.
Yeah, man, right? You're basically doing almost 35% of what you put in initially.
Exactly. But that's because my account now is not at $2,600 anymore, right? Now my account is, 8 times greater than that, 16, 17,000, whatever is that right now. So now at $900, it's like a 4% win, right? Versus at $2,600, $900 was a 35% win. Now $900 is like a 3% win. It's like a 4% win. It's nothing. You can do that in this space without much effort. So it gets easier as your account balances get higher. But if you just come in and you're like, well, I just want to make 10 grand in one trade, that's not the right approach. And this is not the right market for it. So, when you come into STF, right, like, I'm going to mentor you on these steps. I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to coach you. I'm going to work with you, on these things. And just understand, like, the proof is right there. Like, I don't have to, like, I don't have to make up things. I don't have to, like, send you around in loopholes and pretend. Like, it's right there. You can see everything that I'm doing real time. It's public information. So, when I'm telling you that I'm teaching you from experience, from what I'm doing, and these are the results. Like, imagine if, like, somebody approached you and they're like, yeah, I can give you, guys, I mean, what is 598% in 8 days? What is that? 598 divided by 8 is 74% a day times 365. Imagine if I came up to you and I was like, hey, I can give you 27,000% this year on your money. You would look at me like either I'm a con man or I'm like delusional, or like the number. I don't even think the number will register. If I came up to you, I was like, hey, I can give you 27,000% right now. Just give me $1,000. I'll give you 27,000%. They're going to be like, fuck, who are you? But that's the reality of it. That's what I'm teaching you. Like, it's right there, right? And for most folks, I mean, and this is not sustainable. I just understand, like, this type of performance is not, like, 70% a day. Like that's not sustainable. That's not realistic. Right. But your bank right now is giving you less than 2% a year. Like a year, it's giving you less than 2%. I can make 2% here in an hour. Right. So what it's going to take for you to make in a year in your bank account, right? I can show you how to make it in an hour. Now, are there risks? Yes, of course, there are risks. You're not going to take your entire savings account and bring it here. We're going to work on the skills and we're going to develop the behaviors that are going to, get you to that point where you feel comfortable putting in more money, right? But the long-winded answer to your question, this is a better way, right? We're going to show you a better way to build wealth in a bear market, right? Because otherwise, like most people in a bear market, all they want to do is not lose money. That's like their goal. But the reality of it is if you're the average person right now and you're watching and you're like, man, like you do understand inflation at 6%, 7%, 8%, doesn't matter how they sold to you. Inflation right now at 8%, I think it's like 7.9 or 7 point, whatever it is right now, 7.1. If you're not growing your money by 7% right now, you are losing money. You're losing money. That's why it's so painful when you go to the grocery store right now. That's why it's so painful when you go buy clothes right now. That's why the dollar store is not a dollar store anymore. It's a $1.25 store. That's why Five Below is not Five Below anymore. It's 15 Below now. Like it's you. That's why these things are happening, and you got to understand the money is losing value as we speak. Dollars are losing value as we speak. Currency is losing value as we speak. So if you're not putting yourself in a position to grow your money during these times, you're falling way behind. Like you're falling way behind.
Again, it's the current state that we're in. It's not. These are the times where the bold will double down. The bold will make some moves that they haven't done before. Those who are a little bit more conservative try to find a way to save. But again, in a market where there's not even enough to save, right? Or your savings.
What are you going to save right now?
Not amounting to what they used to. It's like, what are you going to do, right? Obviously, something needs to happen.
Jason this morning said that. I mean, he bought the statistics during the month of November. I think it was something like almost, it was like 41% of adult Americans or something like that opened new credit in the month of November. Like it was like some absurd amount of like credit card applications and during the month of November for the holiday. I mean, for the holidays, like people are literally putting their Christmas shopping on debt. They were like, I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm gonna put money for my savings. I don't have it, so I'm gonna open up a credit card. I'm gonna put all my Christmas presents, all the holiday spending. I'm gonna put it on my credit cards. Right? That's credit card spending is at an all-time high right now. American revolving debt is literally right now at an all-time high. People don't have cash anymore. Everything is going on credit cards. Everything is going on credit cards. That's what inflation does. That's what happens when you're trying to cut back on inflation like the Fed is doing, right? They're choking cash out of the marketplace. That's why you don't have any. $95 billion a month are being pulled from the markets by the Fed. $95 billion. That's $95,000 million are being pulled from the market every month until we get back to 2% inflation. So we're going to be in a cash shortage. And one of the things, and we'll talk more about this on Thursday, but Jason had another great statistic this morning. Bank deposits are down by $200 billion. Sheesh. Bank deposits are down by $200 billion. And what most people don't understand about that is that banks use your money to lend to people.
Yeah.
Right? For people to borrow houses, for people to borrow money to buy cars. It's your money they're lending. Well, if they're $200 billion short right now, that's $200 billion that they don't have available to lend, which means they're going to lend less, which means it's going to be harder for you to get a loan, which means it's going to be harder for you to buy a house. It's going to be harder for you to buy a car. right? It's going to be more expensive for you to buy a house. It'll be more expensive for you to buy a car because you have to pay higher interest rates because banks are only going to approve the qualified, borrowers. So right now, things are going to get ugly. Things are going to get ugly. It's not great. So having a plan of approach towards this bear market, knowing how to short the market, it's like a gift.
Yeah.
Like knowing how to bet for the market to go down, that is a gift during these times because most people only know how to buy. They don't know how to make money when things are dropping in value. So with STF, we're going to show you how to make money when the market is going down. So you can capitalize and make money during a recession. When everything is going down, you're actually going to be profiting from that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who just don't, they haven't, that concept hasn't landed yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact is that a lot of people, and again, it's not just happening in crypto, it's in the entire market, right? It's, from an internet marketing standpoint, what people are looking for right now is credit and loans, right? They're looking for money to put into their business so that they can make more money, right? And so they can have more cash, right? And again, people think, when the market is going well, it makes sense. Everybody's spending more, people are buying products. When the market is not going well, you find a dip in the consumer aspect, right? Consumers are at least paying for less things, right? It's more challenging to pay for things, but businesses who are in a position to double down, especially if they're offering something to the market that sustains, right? Like a supermarket or something like that. A supermarket is making money when the market is going well, and they're making hella money right now. They've been doing very well over the last 2 years. Despite what most people believe, right? And it's the ability for those type of business models to survive during a recession that make them make them great investments. Now, when it comes to STF, it's like it doesn't matter whether the market's going up or down. The goal is to learn how to play a role when either thing is happening, right? It's knowing what to do when it's happening. And again, it's not just hype or following the trend. It's about being able to know what happens. It's being the trend follower and being the trend creator, right? That's a beautiful thing, brother. So I think Thursday, I keep on saying tomorrow, but it's because I'm going to see you all every day anyway. Thursday specifically, this Zoom call, I am excited about it. One, because I know what we're going to be talking about, but secondly, I don't think, at least from my point of view and from my experience, it's never been broken down in the way that we're going to break it down. Like what it actually takes, the identity, some of the things that we talked about earlier, the identity, the mindset that we need to get into, how to create a personalized plan depending on your specific goals, where you're currently at, your investment strategy, your risk tolerance. But why, again, last time, because I know you and I both have to get back to what we're doing. Why should I be in this call? How should I prepare for this call? Should I be telling people about this? Should I be getting all my friends and family on this? Is this something that I want to take on and learn for myself? What is the intention, and what's in it for me? What's in it for me in the long term?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things, right? One, you have someone, right, who's arguably, and I don't want to obviously toot my horn, but it's going to sound like it, but you have someone who's arguably one of the better cryptocurrency traders in the world. I don't have to say that. The numbers say that, right? It's on the leaderboard says that, right? So, you have arguably one of the better traders on the planet spending an hour with you. Think about like your inner network, the people you talk to. Who do you know that's a top, trader of cryptocurrencies in the world that you can just pick up the phone and call or talk to, or learn from, at least for an hour for free, right? Like we're just going to talk for an hour. It's not going to cost anything. And when I think about that right there, I growing up, I was always like, man, I'm seeking business opportunities. I'm always like, hey man, like, like what you got? Like what can we build? What can we open up? What can we work on? I never had somebody reach out to me, be like, hey, you just hop on this guy's webinar and like listen to what, like that didn't show up around my way. Like I didn't have the resource to be like, yo, here's the top 10 trader in the planet. Like go learn from him. Like that didn't exist. That didn't exist for me growing up. I didn't have those options. So yeah, I mean, I would be telling all my friends if I could, maybe you don't know me yet. Maybe you don't trust me yet. So you're hesitant to share. So if that's how you feel, at least, just come and see the vibe that you get. See if you feel good at the end of the webinar. See if you get a lot of value, right? Because we're gonna give value. You're gonna walk away, bring a notepad, take notes, right? Like bring a notepad, take notes, because you're gonna get value. And I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna walk you through things that I'm doing, right? And then we're gonna talk about more high level things down the road if you want to keep showing up. But that hour, I mean, it's an hour of your day to expand your mind. That's really how I look at it, right? It's an hour of your day for you to come on a Thursday night, and just expand your mind a little bit right before the weekend. So, you can start to think, what? It's the beginning of the year. I have some big goals financially that I want to accomplish this year. It doesn't look like the markets are in my favor. So how can I do it? Like, I've been thinking about taking, a couple $1,000s and starting a home-based business. I've been thinking about, taking an investment in starting, a side gig. Well, why not explore all your options, right? Why not come learn to see what's available? Because maybe, just maybe, you learn something that triggers that moment in life where it changes everything, right? It changes everything. And that could be your aha moment where you're like, oh man, this is what I want to do. I like this. I like this stuff. This stuff, it fascinates me. Not only am I learning something new, but I'm also making money while I'm learning. And that's really, what makes it so special is you can actually make money while you're learning. Nowhere else, like most businesses, most stuff, you're losing money while you're learning. Here, you have an opportunity to make money while you're learning. Yes, you're gonna have to put up money, right, in order for it to work, because this is finance. But you can start with nothing, $50, $100. I mean, people literally started with. I mean, we have community members that have minted free NFTs that literally started with zero and have made hundreds of dollars off of zero. Like they started for free in the space and they've made hundreds of dollars off of gifts, off of being gifted, stuff in this space. That's how crazy the crypto space is. So, show up, tell your friends, share with at least one person. Like just invite one close friend and be like, hey, what do you think? Think this guy's full of crap, or should we buy in? Like have a validator come on with you. Like that's what have your friend come validate. If it sounds good or not. I mean, that's how I would look at it.
Making informed decisions, right? That's what we're doing here. There's if you're watching this already, there's a link to register for the Zoom call, right? So that's already on there. I'm probably going to use this video and post it in other places so that people are aware of what's happening. But yeah, like again, come see what STF is about. More specifically, what to do during this recession, how to take advantage of it, things that you can do whether you decide to work with us or learn from us or not. At the very least, you get something out of it. And I know there's a lot of members of our academy who are going to be there. Many of which are going to be inviting people because they're being asked a question, right? They're kind of like the go-to crypto expert in their family or in their workplace, and people are asking them like, "What should I be doing right now?" Well, this is the time. This is the place to be. We're going to talk about it, and we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to be about it, right? So, I'm excited for Thursday. I'm excited for the trading signal call this Saturday as well, and all of the calls. All of the morning quickies that you host and all the other trainings that our instructors are putting out there, because again, it's one thing to look at it from it was really hard for me to look at it almost like as a spectator from the outside looking outside, right? I being in the inside now of STF Academy and seeing how we're showing up, and the fact that we have people like Jason and people like Christina who are letting us know what's happening real time. Again, it's paramount. So if you're watching this and haven't already registered, please do so. And allow us to just love on you. There's other gifts, obviously, that we're going to be giving away. We didn't really get into that stuff, but this is the important stuff. Yeah, man, you just shared something with me as well. So,
yeah, I just gave you the steps.
you
So
gave
you
me the
have them.
steps. Actually, that's a pretty good recap. I appreciate you for sending that to me. Right. So, so again, the recap of today's call, right, is really if we're gonna win during the recession, you got to get in the right mindset. You got to really reflect on where you're at in the current moment. You know what your goals are, where you want to be in the next 90 days, 6 months, a year, and what's how things are going, like what's helping you, what's going well, what's serving you, and what's not going well, what's getting in your way, right? The next is the level of urgency. It's like, well, how much longer are you going to stay where you're currently at, right? And once you make the decision, it's identifying what's available to you, right? So once you understand what's available to you, the different plays, the endless amounts of different protocols or styles that you can embrace the market with, then you can really prepare a personalized plan, get an approach that works for you, and after that, it's just showing up every day, right? Because we show up every day, the academy shows up every day, right? And we're all showing up to learn from each other. We're all showing up to protect each other and keep each other safe from the market. Make sure that we're all doing the right things in the right order. And that's really what start to finish is about, right? It's we're helping you get from start to finish wherever you're at. So again, if you're watching this and you benefit from being part of a free community of people who you can bounce off ideas when you're in a recession, when you have these tough questions about what's going to work in a bear market, that's what we're here to do, right? So like you've seen on the screen, if you haven't already registered for STF Academy, the link is there. We have free education, and we have really cool videos like the one that we're hosting on Thursday, right? So we hope to see you there live. For the person who's already trading, already dabbling, maybe they've gotten to the point where they're doing $100 a month, $1,000 a year. What is the call to action for that person who already has, some of our students who already have some experience under their belts and are not a top 10 trader? What would be the call to action for them?
I would my advice to somebody that's in that space where they are sort of figuring out their style, what their journey is, how fast they want to go, what kind of results they want to have. My recommendation for them is to one, find a mentor, right? Whether it's within STF or in general. Obviously I'm biased, but find somebody that wants to mentor you, find somebody that's willing to mentor you. And if they're willing to do it for free, that's great. I've never found anybody really that wanted to mentor me for free. Because understand, like, expertise and knowledge and value, it costs money. Like, I've the people that have what you want have invested a lot to get there. Like, it doesn't just happen. So if you want to, if you're at that level where maybe you're looking to take trading to the next level, then you're gonna need a mentor. You're not gonna need, but ideally you're gonna want one so that you don't go through. I've been liquidated over a dozen times. That means my account went to zero. I got liquidated when my account was $500,000. I've been liquidated when my account is at $200,000. I've been liquidated when my account is at $100,000. I've been liquidated. Okay. I've lost lots of money trading. Right. So I can tell you from experience, it's expensive to learn. Right. Obviously you cannot lose more money than what you've made. Right. So if I lost $500,000, because I have made $500,000. So that goes to tell you something, right? That there is a silver lining, right? In order for you to have the ability to lose that kind of money, you have to make that kind of money. But if you can have somebody mentor you and walk you through, the landmines, and just be like, hey, like, nope, that's not. Trust me, you don't want to enter a trade right at that moving average there, because most of the time it converges. And like when you have somebody telling you these things, you can go, oh, okay. Yeah, whew, thank goodness you told me that, because I was about to enter that trade there and I would have gotten wrecked, and that's what most people are missing. Just somebody that has that type of experience that can just be like, hey, look, no. Because what happens is you're going to learn it firsthand. And if I don't tell you, hey, don't do that trade because you're going to get wrecked. And then if I'm not there, you don't have a mentor, somebody to tell you that, and you go ahead and do it, and you do get wrecked and you lose all your money, your confidence goes from here to here, right? Because now you're no longer making $100 a month. You're now making zero, because you're right back to where you started. So now that you lost everything, you have to rebuild that confidence to go do it again. And then there's going to be another instance when your account is at $10,000 and you're making $1,000 a month, right? And you're not going to have a mentor there that tells you, hey, don't do that trade because you're going to get wrecked and you're going to lose all your money. And that mentor is not there. And guess what? You're going to do that trade and you're going to lose all your money. And now your confidence is once again destroyed, because you've made it all the way to $10,000 this time. And now you're back to zero and you have to start all over again, right? You're smarter, you're wiser each time, but you're a little more, what's the word? Hardened, right? You're a little more, like, you become a little more jaded and more frustrated and more annoyed each time. So when you find a mentor that can help you, overcome or at least get past those hurdles, right? You're going to have to learn some of these lessons, but it's nice when somebody can help you not lose everything, right? Somebody can help you guide you through those moments. And if you do lose everything, right, having somebody there to talk to you and be there. Like I've had conversations with students that lost 100 grand. And, and I've had to have those conversations with them where it's like, hey, like, it's okay. It's only money. We'll make it back, right? That's not an easy conversation when somebody loses $100,000. It's not an easy conversation when somebody loses $40,000. I remember the very first time I had to have one of these conversations was a good friend of mine. He lost $37,000 in 15 minutes. 37 grand in 15 minutes. He called me and he's like, I just want to share this moment with you. And we just talked through it and we laughed about it at the end. And we and it was at the end of it, something great came from it. After that, he went on an incredible run and made it all back. But it was that moment, had I not been there for that talk, I don't know how that would have proceeded. Would he had kept trading? I have no idea. Would he had quit? But we never had to find out because I was there for him, and we had that tough conversation. Like, hey, it's okay. You can make it back. So that's what, for somebody that's already trading, you need accountability. That's what it comes down to. You need accountability. You need somebody to be there to help you, mentor you, be on your ears, and just keep you on the right state of mind. Because trading, all you do is click this button. There's zero physical effort to be a top 10 trader in the world. You don't need a six-pack. You don't need to be like, it takes zero physical effort. It is literally 99.9% mental. Like, this is a mental skill set. You can be paralyzed in a wheelchair. You can be, like literally, like it takes zero physical capabilities for you to be a top trader in the world, for you to be financially free through trading. All you need is here. So if you're the type of person that's like, you know what, I've never been good at sports, I've never been good at anything physical, I've never been good at any of this, but I am definitely smart as they come, this may be the thing for you, right?
This may be it. And if it is going to be, again, Thursday, we're getting together. I'm actually just going to share the screen before we leave, so that I can share what to do, because you're probably like me. You receive an STF Academy email, right? How to profit during a recession. There's a link on there. It'll take you over to the Zoom registration page. You put in your first name, last name, and then you're gonna get confirmation. You'll get the email. You get the messages coming in. When Thursday comes, you'll be able to log in at 7:15 and watch live, right? So that's really what it's about, right? So we are grateful to have you here. We're grateful for your presence. JC, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be present with us.